The longest running soap opera in the world, the British royal family. And of course now the people are really contributing to it a lot. Prince Harry, Meghan Markle. Prince Harry is going back in time and recalling some sour incidents. He's about to come out with a new book. It's coming out in just 4 days' time. Prince Harry alleges he was assaulted and beaten up by his elder brother, Prince William, who's going to be the next King of England. He also alleges that the infamous Nazi outfit that he wore to a party in 2005 was on the recommendation of his brother William and his sister-in-law Kate Middleton. He's spoken about killing people in Afghanistan, 25 Taliban members. A lot is there apparently in this book, and all of these explosive claims are going to be part of Harry's memoir. In this new book, Spare, Harry apparently writes that William, quote-unquote, grabbed me by the collar, ripping my necklace and knocked me to the floor. I landed on the dog's bowl, which cracked under my back, the pieces cutting into me. I lay there for a moment, dazed, and then got to my feet, and I told him to get out. Harry goes on to say that the attack resulted in visible injury and that William asked him not to talk about it to Harry's wife, actor Meghan Markle. You don't need to tell Meg about this, William told Harry, he recalls. You mean you attacked me? I didn't attack you, William replies. Look, essentially a blow-by-blow account of everything that happened. All of this is coming out in the Spare. I'm sure you're going to be reading it, just as many people have actually been seeing the entire soap opera playing itself out on Netflix. Now, I have to say, opinions are starting to get very polarized on all of this. There are people, and we're going to be speaking to one of them just in a short while from now, who believe that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have been treated very unfairly by the press for sure, unfairly by the royal family, and they've been treated badly and they're entitled to say their point of view. Now, of course, they're entitled to give their side of the story. But there are also others who are out there saying, hasn't this gone on a bit too far? If the real complaint of Prince Harry, Meghan Markle was there's too much intrusion into our privacy. Why are every aspects of our life being laid bare? What exactly is happening out here? There have been interview after interview, Oprah and others. There have been a 6-part Netflix series out there. There's now this book which is coming out, which will probably sell and be read by millions of people. Excruciating details of everything. A lot of people fight with their brothers and sisters. A lot of things happen in family. In this case, it's now not just the washing of dirty linen. It is actually the examination of every stain on that dirty linen with a magnifying glass, chemical analysis of what the stain has, and all of this being put out in the rest of the world. Is it going to work? But perhaps, look, this sells. Let's face it. The royal family sells. The scandals around the royal family sells. That Netflix documentaries did really well, and presumably this book is also going to sell in the millions. So what exactly is happening out here? The misunderstood couple which has been driven out of their family and treated really badly by the press and by the family? Or is this somebody who's now complaining too much, whining too much, dare it be said, as I've heard some people saying? I guess the jury is going to be out on this. But look, the story itself, the entire interest around the royal family, I'm not sure it's going to go away. It's often been said in the past, people are getting tired of the royal family. They don't want to hear anymore. This is a story that we've heard before. Let's just give you a quick recap, shall we?
On the 19th of May 2018, when American actor Meghan Markle walked down the aisle of the St. George's Chapel at Windsor, the world thought the royal family was taking slow steps towards progress. This was a woman of colour who had been married before and who was now becoming one of the senior-most members of the British royal family. Meghan, Harry, William and Kate together became the Fab Four, the future faces of the royal family. But it didn't take too many months before cracks began appearing. Rumour mill said there were rifts between Meghan Markle and the Princess of Wales, Kate Middleton. Some reports claimed that Prince Harry and Prince William were not getting along. There was a viral video of Prince William seemingly ignoring Meghan. It surfaced around the same time as reports of Harry feeling William was not rolling out the red carpet for Meghan. By early 2019, a documentary had become the talk of the town. It screamed, "Kate versus Meghan, are the princesses at war?" No one knew, and the palace was tight-lipped. In the documentary, though, a royal watcher said that Prince William was concerned about Harry's relationship with Meghan Markle before the two wed. Harry supposedly was ballistic and accused his brother of wrecking his relationship before it even began. The royals added to the speculations when William and Prince Harry decided to split their households and offices. William remained at Kensington Palace. Harry and Meghan moved to their new official residence, the Frogmore Cottage. The transition was complete by April 2019. The same month, a Sunday Times report claimed that Harry and Meghan were planning to relocate to Africa. In the recent Netflix docu-series, Harry said they indeed were, but the story was planted in order to pour cold water on their plan. Then came this video. It's Easter Day 2019, and all's clearly not well between the two brothers. In October 2019 came another documentary. In it, Harry said he does not see his brother as much as he used to, adding he still loves William dearly. So what exactly was happening? The British press has many answers, and in all of them, the villain was Meghan Markle, a foreigner who was wrecking the British royal family. It did not help her case when in November 2019 it became clear that Harry and Meghan will not be spending Christmas with the royal family at Sandringham. Instead, they will be visiting Meghan's mom. 2020 began with a bombshell announcement. Harry and Meghan said they would step back from their senior royal duties. The announcement was made on the Sussexes' Instagram handle. What was it supposed to mean? Megxit, said the British public. This was a breakup in the royal family. And just like Brexit, the terms and conditions were blurry. What next? Reports said William was miffed because he was blindsided. Queen Elizabeth II too reportedly only learned from the Sussexes' decision from Instagram. It's been 2 years. Today the two brothers live different lives in different countries and continents. Yet there seems to be a constant duel for attention. One tours America, another releases the trailer of their Netflix docu-series. One goes on an image-building exercise, another counts down to the release of the book, promising to tell the world the real story about the British royals. But who's really lining up outside the bookstore?
Well, as I was just saying a short while back, a lot of people starting to lose sympathy with Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. But Kristen Meinzer now joins us with a slightly different point of view. She's a very prominent royal watcher, podcaster, joining us from New Zealand actually right now. But she's been writing a lot about this and has, I think, a fair amount of sympathy, I think, for the position that the Sussexes actually catch themselves in. Now, Kristen, I don't know if you've read the book already. The leaks are coming out thick and fast. Lots and lots of stories of assault and what have you. It sounds as if it's going to be a rather explosive book coming out in 3 or 4 days.
Yes, the book is out on the 10th. And according to Penguin Random House, which is publishing the book, they've put out press releases that are essentially saying that Harry just wants to tell his side of the story, and not just as a royal, but as a human being, as a man, as a father, as a son. And I think that's what we can look forward to, is getting his perspective more as a human and not just as the face of an institution.
Now, we've seen some sense of what is there in the book already. I mean, it's out there on your Twitter feed as well. Prominently, this entire talk about a physical fight and assault that he says that, Prince William attacked him, and many other details that we're now starting to hear about. These were not there in the Netflix documentary or opera or any other such thing. These have been presumably kept for the book.
Oh, well, that fight, that physical altercation you speak of, is probably the most explosive thing that has been leaked so far. Penguin Random House has kept everything under lock and key. They've been very strict about making sure nobody has access to this book. So a lot of us were really shocked that The Guardian had access to these snippets at all. It really is surprising to those of us who are royal reporters and royal watchers. We've had every request denied to have advanced clips of the book given to us. So it's quite shocking that somehow The Guardian got access to portions of this book. And yeah, that physical altercation you speak of, William attacked Harry after a fight over Meghan Markle. William said some very uncharitable things about Meghan, and then attacked Harry in Harry's own home, ripped off his necklace, grabbed his collar, threw him on the ground so forcefully that Harry ended up breaking a dog dish and getting injuries from it. And so that's the most explosive thing we've heard so far. But if we've gotten that snippet from the book, I imagine there's going to be more of that. I imagine that that's not the only shocking bit that we will hear about Harry with his brother or with his father.
Okay, Kristen, you use the word shocking, but I know there are lots of brothers who will be watching this and saying, look, okay, they are princes, they are royal family, presumably they're expected to behave in a certain manner, but brothers do fight, right? Okay, they're older now, maybe you have physical fisticuffs when you're much younger, but there are people who will watch this and saying, my brother's done that to me fairly frequently, we have fights, these things happen. These things happen in a family. A lot of this stuff which is coming out in the press, presumably because they are royal family, but a lot of this is stuff that does happen in families.
Oh, absolutely. We've all seen little boys tussle with each other, 4, 5, 6 years old, maybe even as teenagers, but we're talking about two grown men in their 30s. And really, I don't see healthy families usually getting in these kinds of physical altercations where injuries take place. I absolutely expected of little boys tussling with each other, but I think that this is not normal. And it also, the fact that this physical altercation included name calling and accusations about, that William was throwing at Harry about his wife. I think this is not normal.
So, okay, they obviously seem to be two camps very clearly, and there seem to be very strong opinions on both sides. Now, there is, of course, a particular point of view. So if I could, let's play devil's advocate with you, it is to say the following. Look, Harry and Meghan have been expressing their side of the story extensively, almost in excruciating, painful detail. Opera, then there's a full 6-part documentary, now a book. And if all of this is about, let's maintain privacy and we want privacy in our lives, they have been exposing all aspects of their life and at great lengths for months now, if not years altogether. So something is not quite adding up in this story.
Well, I think there's a difference between invasion of privacy, having one's mail intercepted and published in the Mail on Sunday or the Daily Mail, having members of your family stalked by the paparazzi, having the tabloids write racist, misogynistic, fake stories about you. I think that is an invasion of privacy. Choosing to tell one's own story, that's not an invasion of privacy. That's a right that we all have. And in fact, it is a right that has been practiced by other members of the royal family. Lest we forget, in the 1990s, Princess Di told her story to a biographer, as well as during her famous interview that we all know of today. But also Prince Charles did the same thing. He had an aired primetime TV interview with Jonathan Dimbleby, who he collaborated on also in a tell-all book. And so Harry's not the first person to do this. He's not the first member of the royal family who wants to keep things, private to a certain extent, but also tell his own story.
Okay, look, I get that. And look, there can be no justification for the way the paparazzi have behaved. They behaved in a ridiculous manner. And it's not for the first time. They've been doing it for decades. We all know what happened with Princess Diana. It was because of the paparazzi. So there's absolutely no justifying that. But when it comes to the royal family itself, and I think that's one of the reasons why the Sussex's popularity has been falling in Britain, is that, look, it's one thing to do a single interview and put your side of the story or two, but it now seems that this is becoming an entire industry, right? The interviews, the Netflix series, now this book, presumably another book will come out, maybe a movie. It's almost beginning to seem like an organized way to keep telling their story and commercially benefit from it.
Well, I would say 6 hours of Netflix and a couple of hours with Oprah and this book is just a drop in the bucket compared to the thousands of inches of text and copy that have been given to the tabloids about this family, about the Sussexes, about the millions, probably, I can't count how many hours, have been given to talk shows where the commentators on TV shows for years now, have dedicated time to just sullying the Sussex name. And so, if you compare the numbers of hours and the numbers of pages that the tabloids and tabloid TV have, spent on this family, the fact that they want to give 8 hours in a book to talk about it from their perspective is just tiny in comparison.
How do you see public opinion panning out? Because right now, public opinion in Britain has gone very anti-Harry and Meghan. And of course, look, some of the comments that were made, Jeremy Clarkson, that infamous Game of Thrones illusion, which really was awful and got a record number of complaints out there, that seemed to swing the needle back a little bit in their favor. How do you see public opinion now looking at all of this?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the public very much sees proof over and over again that the press have done and continue to do and say terrible things about the Sussexes. And Jeremy Clarkson, the fact of his timing, that he had that editorial where he talked about staying up late at night, unable to sleep, because he's fantasizing about Meghan being stripped naked and marched through towns while people throw excrement at her. All he did was prove the point of what Meghan and Harry have said in their Netflix series, what they said to Oprah. He's just proven the point. So yeah, I don't think they're helping themselves, The Sun, by publishing editorials like that. I don't think the tabloid press is helping their case in the slightest right now. And as far as public opinion of Meghan and Harry, obviously the public is eating it up. Netflix, that was their #1 rated documentary series. And, not just this year, but of all time. And why was that? Because the public is interested.
So, yes, the public loves, whatever they may say, they love reading about the royal family, they love hearing the royal family, they love watching The Crown, they love watching the Netflix series, but that's not the same as to say they're necessarily sympathizing, right? You may be watching something which you're not sympathizing with. If you look at the opinion polls, if you look at the popularity rankings, they've been dropping for Harry and Meghan Markle. I think Meghan is now only a little bit above Prince Andrew when it comes to popularity, and that's not really the place you want to be.
No, absolutely not. Nobody wants to be in the same sentence as Prince Andrew. That's very, very true. But sometimes I feel that Meghan and Harry are just being used as a distraction. And based on the clips that have been released of Harry speaking with Anderson Cooper on CNN, on 60 Minutes, we see that, Harry talks about the family using the Sussexes as a distraction. He talks about the royals leaking stories to the press.
I hate to interrupt. I hate to interrupt you, but who is doing the leaking right now? Who are the people who are actually out there doing the talking? The family isn't doing it. The family is not saying much. You're saying they're leaking it. Okay, possible. But the family is not saying much. But the interviews, the Netflix documentaries, this book, right now it seems as if it is the Sussexes who are out there doing all the talking and in excruciating detail.
Oh, well, as you said, the Sussexes are actually speaking in a forthright manner. When leaks are being made to the press, it's not forthright. It could very well be members of the staff working for Charles or for William or whatnot, but leaks don't usually receive credit. Harry and Meghan at least are taking credit for their words and for their stories.
Okay, Kristen Meiser, thank you so much for joining us. A real pleasure listening to you. Thank you so much.